Hello, today is Sunday, March 20th, 2016. This is Omar. So this is part of the Tableau learning series. Um, I'll be talking about the Tableau product line and Tableau desktop in detail, and we will be actually doing an example of Tableau desktop of how to create a data set. So let's start. So go to www.tableau.com and bring your cursor over the products, just hover over it, and it'll show you the Tableau product line. So the main products are, there's a Tableau desktop. That's our topic of discussion. We'll go into detail of Tableau desktop. Then there's a Tableau server. There's a Tableau online, and there's a Tableau mobile, Tableau public, and Tableau reader. So public is very similar to Tableau desktop. Actually, public is the free version of the Tableau desktop. It provides you the same development capabilities as desktop. The limitation is in the number of data sources, and there is no security in public. Anything you built, you can't save it on your PC. You need to publish it on the web. So it's good for training. Public is good for training. So actually we are going to use public for our training exercise, and that's whatever we learn in public can be used in Tableau desktop. So we'll explain that in more detail. So let's look at Tableau desktop. Go to learn more. Go down. So Tableau has within the desktop there are two products. There is the personal edition and the professional edition. The main difference is in the data sources. So if you click the data sources tab, so the Tableau personal allows you Excel, connectivity to Excel, text files, Microsoft Access, OData, which is the Microsoft reporting services dataset, Azure Marketplace, and Tableau Data Extract or TDE. So it doesn't allow access to the other databases. However, this personal is very similar to Tableau public. Public also allows these data sources, but the public is you have to publish your stuff to the web, and it's non-secure. Whereas in the personal version, you can save your work on your local disk, and so it's your own thing, the personal one, but it's very limited in connections. When you go to professional, it allows, that's the main flagship product of Tableau, professional. It allows you lots of connection to lots of data sources. However, there's a difference between the professional on Windows versus the professional on Mac. The difference is explained by asterisk. So if you look at here, go down, the asterisk means available for Windows only. So the Windows version of desktop professional has more data sources available as compared to the Mac version. As an example, if you want to connect with Access, you can only do it through desktop window version. Similarly, the cubes, Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server analysis services is available through professional. It is not on Windows. It is not available in the Mac version. So this is a list of data sources. So actually, you can virtually connect to anything. And the way the products work together is you will actually create a data source or a data set using Tableau Professional, and then we are going to publish it on the server. And the users can build their workbooks using the data source that we created using the Professional. So the exercise we're going to do we will actually show you how to build a data source using the desktop. So let's go to the exercise. The exercise that I will do, I'm going to use the Tableau public so that anyone can do this exercise. It doesn't have to have a license because public is free. And whatever you learn here, if you have the desktop version, you can utilize the same skills on desktop because the public and desktop are same. The interfacing is the same. The difference is in the number of data sources available and in security. The professional version is secure, the public is open, like you have to publish to the web, but interface is the same. So this is Tableau public. What I will do is I will do an exercise of access. So go to access and I'll connect with Adventureworks. Now let me explain why I am doing this exercise. This is to explain how to build data source using a database. So with public we cannot connect with Oracle or IBM, DB2 or SQL Server, but we can connect with Access, and the database concept and Access are the same. Microsoft publishes a example database called Adventureworks for SQL Server training. Microsoft also provides that example data set for Access. It is more related to the real world use case because the Tableau exercises that I've seen in the Tableau training material, they are very simple. They are not complicated, whereas the real world is complicated. This Microsoft example is more close to the real world. So I will show you that. So I downloaded this Adventureworks from the web. It's free. So whatever I'm doing, anyone can do it. You don't need a license to do this. For this training, you don't need a license because I'm using all public version. I'm using the public, Tableau public. I'm using Microsoft exercises, which are freely available as public for training. So Adventureworks ACC DB. So I open it up. Open it. Okay. So this is more realistic example because it has lots of tables. So if you look at Tableau examples, they just have a few tables, but this has much more. This is more relating to a real world example. So if in any organization, if you go to any database like Oracle or IBM, you will find lots of tables because conventionally the database are designed in the third normal form. So they have to dedupe the data, and everything that gets updated needs to be in a different table. And those tables are created in different schemas to organize them or in different databases. So this is a good example. It shows you how the real world works. So there's some tables relating to human resources. There's a table relating to a person. There's a table relating to production, product, so product related tables, purchasing, sales. So again, this is a good example. So when you have so many tables, what table you should pick up? So the way to do it is, the data in any organization is going to be reference data and transactional data. So transaction data is like sales, inventory. That's a transaction, how things are happening. That's a transaction. And reference data provides all the information relating to that transaction. So there will be many tables dealing with reference data, many tables dealing with transaction data. There will be customer tables, product tables. So the table you need to select in any analysis you do needs to be the most granular table. So you need to select the transaction detail level table as your first table, and then you build from it. So the most detailed table needs to be the first one. So in this one, I will find the most detailed table, and the most detailed table is in uh, the sales table, and it's the sales order detail. I'm going to look at the view data here to see what does it contain. It contains the product ID. So we need to get a little familiar with data, because these are how the connections are going to work. So I'm trying to explain how, if you see a database, how you're going to join the tables, which tables you're going to select first, and then how do you know what to join. So you see this product ID, it means this table is going to join with product. Sales order ID, this is going to join with the sales order, because this is order detail, so there will be a header, so this will join with the header. And then it has different measures. Special offer ID, so if there are any promotions, etc., it will join with that. So we briefly looked at the data to familiarize ourselves. Then we double click it to select that table. So the table got selected. Now what I need to do is I need to add more tables, and we are building a data source. So this is built in using Tableau desktop, and then the business users do not have to build a data source. They will be the consumers of data source. This data source you can publish it to the server, and then the business users can use this data source and build their workbooks from there. But we are doing the first step, how to build a data source. So we've selected the detail table. Now we saw that it had the header ID. Let's look at it again. It had the order header ID. It had product ID as well as sales order ID. So order is at a higher level, which is the order header. So we will select. So we start with the detail, then go to the header and look at the join. So you don't need to know SQL to use Tableau. It's all visual. So the join is sales order ID. It looks good. So these two tables got joined. Now let me look at the data for my header. So in header, the header will join to other tables like the credit card ID, currency rate ID, customer ID. So here you will establish link with your customer. Salesperson ID, so you establish link with your sales rep. Ship to address, so your shipping address, shipping method ID. So this transactional header provides a lot of connections, a territory ID. So this is very similar to a real world example, that basically the header record will have pointers to other information. So what we will do is, so we will join some more tables. So we already got the header, but in the order detail we had seen that there was a product, because product is at the line level. Product is not at the header level, because every line is a different product. So the product ID we'll have to pick up from the line. So the product ID is at the line level. So let's link it with the product table. Let's find that. So go to production, product. So let's select product. Let's look at the data first. Okay. So this is a product table. It has various attributes of the product like class, color, and modification date, name of the product, product line. Now if you look at the subcategory ID, it's null, which means it's empty, but it's not always empty. It's also populated. So if you go down, but it is not always populated. So this is very important. There are some columns which are not always populated. So then don't use an inner join. You use a left outer join. Because if you use an inner join, you will drop records. You don't want to do that. So that's why you need to get a little familiar with your data. So this is the product subcategory ID that we will be using later on. So let's get the sales product. So it did a default join, product ID join. So this join is correct. So that's fine. So now let's get the product subcategory ID. Product subcategory, let's familiarize ourselves with the data. So view data. So product subcategory ID is in this table. And product category ID is also here. So this is like a linking. We are linking things together. We started with the transaction detail, linked it with product, then we're going to link it with product subcategory, and then we will link it with product. So product subcategory. So we got that. Let's link. So join is not good here because with the way Tableau joins is it joins using the columns that match. The row GID is matching, but that's not what we want. So we want to join it this product using product subcategory. So we select the product subcategory ID, product subcategory ID, and it won't join by default. It tries to join with the first table, but this will not join to the first table because first table does not have a product subcategory ID. It will join with the second table, which is the product ID, which is the product table. So you go to the product table here and select within the product, find the product subcategory ID. Yep, you see it now linked it with product. So now we are coming from the sales detail to the product and the product subcategory. Now let's find the product category. Product category. Product category. So let's briefly look at the data. Yeah, it has a product category ID and it has the name. So let's select that. And then you see first it tries to join with the order detail table, but we don't want that. Join is not going to work because it's trying to join with the row ID. We don't want that. So we can change that. So we will actually join it with the product subcategory. So let's find product subcategory here. Product subcategory and product category ID. And from here also product category ID. By default, the joins are inner joins, which means it will only join if the things match in both tables. But we know that not all products have subcategories defined, so this inner join will reduce our number of records. That's the problem. So we need to change into the left outer join. So I want to see the category regardless, even if it's null. I want to see all the products, so we have to change it to the left. It shows you by this filling this gap up that you're seeing all the records from the left table. And similarly, I'll do that the left outer join for this table also. Okay, so now we have our data set defined. Started with the detail, joined the header, went to product, product subcategory, and product category. Now, typically what I would do is I would publish this, or anyone would publish this to the server, and then the business users can use this to build their workbooks, because a power user needs to use the desktop to define the data sources. But in this case, because I'm using a Tableau public, I'm not going to publish it to the server, but I will continue using it. So my data set source has been defined. Now I go to the sheet. So it's going to combine all the data together and bring it. So what Tableau Public does is it does an extract. Um, if you are using Tableau Professional, it doesn't do an extract. It allows you live connection, so it only gets what you need, the professional version. Whereas public version does a full extract. Okay, so now you have all the columns, and so now I'm trying to build my analysis. So what Tableau has done is it has automatically broken my data into dimensional attributes and measures. Measures are continuous fields like amount due, etc., sales. So those are continuous fields, and dimensions are the things that I'm going to slice and dice it by. So which column you should select first? We got so many columns here, got a ton of columns here. So the way to do it is select your measure first, and the most detailed measure that you want, select your measure first. So in this case, I'm going to select my total due. So it shows it. It shows it in a default format. Now this shows 3500 M. I want to change my default format. So what I do is I'm going to come to total due, do a right click, go to default properties, go to number format, and custom, and 0. So total due, now it's actually put a dollar here, and it's 3.5 billion. Now any measure that you are doing analysis, number by itself mean nothing. Things are relating to time. Are these orders for like 10 years, 100 years, 2 years? So time is very critical. So the next thing I want to do is I want to pull time. And the way Tableau does is it uses, if you provide any date field, it automatically builds up a hierarchy from using the date. You don't have to build anything, because once you provide the date, it knows that a date has a year, it has a month, so it does it automatically. You can build your own custom hierarchies using a time dimension, but here we're going to use the built-in facility of Tableau. So we need to get a date. So let's get to the transaction header, transaction order header, and let's pick up the order date. So this is just a date, and when I put it here, Tableau automatically converts it into years. So I see the data set that sample data set that we are dealing with is dealing with years 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. But the graphs look strange. So I want to understand this graph better. I want to see the underlying details visually. Why the data is like that. So let me make it a little granular. So instead of year, let's make it month. And then let me bring the order date again into color. So what it did, it automatically rolled it up to the years, and then showing the years in different colors. So now I'm understanding my data a little better here, because if you look at here, the order started coming in 2001 in July and up to December, that's in blue. So my 2001 year is not complete because it started in July. And my 2014 is not complete because it finished here in July. So the year is not complete. So these are my outliers. I want to exclude them. I don't want 2001 and 2004 because they are not complete year. I want to analyze my complete years. So to exclude them, Tableau has very nice facility. It has a filter, and it's very easy to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my order date and drop it on the filter, and put years and select next. So it automatically rolled up the date to years and is selecting these 4 years. Now I don't want these all 4 years, so I'm going to do none. I want to exclude 2001 and 2004. So I select this and press exclude and press OK. So it automatically excluded them. So now actually I'm seeing my 2002 and 2003. 2002 is in yellow. 2003 is in green. And if I wanted to turn labels on, it actually tells me the amounts of how the sales happened in different months. So this is now I'm trying to get a little bit understanding my data a little better. But this data is at a very high level. It's total data. So for any analysis, we have to go a little deeper. So what I'm going to see is I want to see the data by category. And the joins were already defined in the data set, so I don't have to do any joins. I'm just going to use the category. So let's go to the product category table. And let's pick up the description and bring it here. Right, so now it's showing data by category. Now I also want to filter because I want to drill a little deeper. So right click, show filter. I don't want to look at everything. I just want to look at bikes. So remove this, just select bikes. So now this is showing me sales of bikes in 2002 and 2003. But this is again at a very high level. I want to go further down. I want to see at the subcategory level. So let's go down and select subcategory name, and let's bring it here. Now this is much better. Let me put a filter also on subcategory. So what you're seeing is that things are becoming visible now. So the touring bikes started selling in 2003 July. Before that, they were not there. The mountain bikes were there and the road bikes were there, but the touring bikes started in July. So this is how we drill into the data, and we can keep drilling further using our filters. So this was an example of how you build a data source using the Tableau desktop. So that is all for today. We will continue our Tableau training series. Once again, this is Omar. It's Sunday, March 20th, 2016. Bye.